So, some of you may have seen this already, but HBO released footage of their voice actors who voiced the clickers from the show The Last of Us. And if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's so cool. And when I watched it for the first time, I was just blown away. It was the coolest thing. I'm always a big fan of other voice actors because it's something that I'm doing as well. And it's just so cool to see everyone's techniques and stuff. So, highly recommend. Go watch it. And then I was thinking, I'm actually doing something similar to that when I'm voicing our monster from our game Station 89. So I thought it would be really cool if I showed you kind of what my process is in voicing a different kind of monster. So our monster has 3 different categories of sounds. A click for echolocation kind of, a growl of course, and then a scream/roar depending on if he's angry or scared or hurt or whatever. So those are his 3. Let me show you how I make them. Just a disclaimer, if you do want to try these techniques on your own, please be careful and listen to your body while you're doing them. They can be pretty taxing on the voice and you can lose your voice if you end up pushing it to its limit. Even though I'm a trained vocalist and have been building up my strength and stamina and technique for many years, it's still taxing for me as well, so I don't even do it for that long personally. So if you aren't trained, please be careful, please listen to your body when you're trying to do these if you are. So for everybody, in order to make sound, air from your lungs flows up through your vocal cords, which vibrate and create sound. And that sound then resonates in different parts of your face and your head. So there's 3 places where your sound is resonating. There is the pharyngeal cavity, which is kind of more in the back of your throat area. There's the mouth cavity, which is obviously your mouth. And then there's the nasal cavity, which is kind of behind your nose and up a little bit under your eyes. So anytime I am singing or speaking, that is the sequence of events that's happening. Air is flowing up, vibrating the vocal cords, producing sound, and it's resonating around my face. When I need to growl for the monster, that's also what's happening. It's still the same airflow movement, just in a growl I'm using my voice in a little bit of a different way. So in order to get the click or the scream, my airflow is actually opposite to how it is when I speak or sing or growl. So instead of the air in my lungs traveling up through my vocal cords, I'm actually breathing in air and it's flowing down through my vocal cords. It's vibrating that way, so there's still air passing through. It's just a little bit differently, and it's not as controlled as it would be if I was breathing out. And this is also how I get the clicks and the screams to sound a little less human, because the sound making method is different than all humans and most animals as well. So especially when I'm doing a fictional character or something that is fantasy, using a different technique than something that's in reality currently living gives it that little extra hint of difference. So after I have some good takes that I like, it's time to put some effects on them so they sound a little more like monster sounds. So because my voice is a normal female voice, I typically will pitch my takes down, especially because the monster in the game is quite large, and according to our game's lore, he has a pretty deep, menacing, low voice. So I need to pitch my voice down to kind of match what we've decided that his will sound like. I also like to add reverb to make the sounds more dramatic, make them bigger, to make them a bit more menacing. And I will use specific reverbs depending on the environment that the monster will be in. So for example, in one part of the game, he is in a bunker, which is basically just concrete and metal. So I pick a reverb that sounds as if that sound is bouncing off walls of concrete, floors of concrete, metal beams, metal ceilings, stuff like that, just to get some of those overtones heard in the roar or the growl or whatever I'm using. So especially if something is scripted, I'll use a specific environmental reverb to kind of mimic where the creature is. I do use a few other effects when it comes to the final production of these sound effects, but I just wanted to show you guys the basics of my voice acting process when it comes to this specific monster. So yeah. And there we go. Finished screams, clicks, and growls for our monster for our game Station 89. Stay tuned if you want to see more content about our game development, and thanks so much for watching.